welcome to the Reconnected Grassfield, my sister.
Thank you.
I'm just proud and privileged that you accepted to be here for this conversation. So, as you know, the Reconnected Grassfield is a movement I've created about 5 years ago. And then what we do, we kind of like provide information. We reconnect our brother and sister. We just kind of like discover that the ancestor came from Cameroon. It could be the Grassfield, which is Bamileke, and then the Chika as well, or
Yeah.
also any other tribe in Cameroon. So
Yeah.
I remember seeing your video on YouTube, and you
Yeah.
was very proud to speak about where you came from. And I decided that, okay, I need to get in touch with you and then see how we can provide you the help.
Good evening, family. Peace. How are you? This is Nakia. I'm coming back at you, and I am finally so happy to share my African ancestry results. I'm doing this video because I want to give a shout out to Cameroon, to all the Cameroon people, specifically the Bamileke people. When I tested with African ancestry, I hope that you can see this. My maternal side was a direct match to the Bamileke people living in Cameroon. And I am so excited. I'm wearing my Cameroon t shirt and I am completely 100% embracing this heritage. And if there are any Cameroonians, Bamileke people specifically, or any Cameroonians for that matter that view my video, I just want you to know you have descendants in the West. I descend from a woman that was taken away during the slave trade from the Bamileke people. A woman who was taken away from her home, her family, and everything that she knew and brought to the Americas. And I am her descendant. And I was directly matched on my maternal lineage. I mean, almost 100% match, 99.7% match to the Bamileke people of Cameroon. I'm so proud that I now have a place in Africa that I can call home. And I hope and pray that I get to make it on the ground in Cameroon one day, specifically to be with my people, my long lost relatives that my ancestors was taken away from. And I truly hope there are some efforts in Cameroon to embrace your descendants that are living in the Americas, and that there is some type of efforts being made to allow us to return. And not only that, but just embracing the reality of what happened during the slave trade. This is the time where we want to know. And it's kind of sad that we have to pay money to take DNA testing to find out, but nevertheless, I was willing to do that. So again, Bamileke people, Cameroonians, you have one long lost daughter that is really wanting to connect with you, and hopefully I can make my way home to visit Cameroon one day. And if it be the will of the Creator, I hope and pray that I get to connect with some of you all. I would love to learn. So, again, my name is Nakia, and I have been confirmed through my African ancestry results to be a direct match on my maternal lineage with the Bamileke people in Cameroon. I love you all. Peace. Let me know what you think.
So can you tell me about your journey? I know that you also got your certificate. Was if you can show
Let's see. Let's see. Hopefully you can see it. I don't know if you can see it. Can
yes,
you see
yes,
it?
it's Bamileke people living in Cameroon. So 100% Bamileke. Yeah, that's perfect. Wow. Yeah. So
Well, honestly,
tell me about,
yeah.
I mean, what motivated you to decide that, okay, you know what? I'm not just gonna be happy to be maybe American or Afro-American or African in America, but I want to know more. So what was that
Yeah.
trigger? What actually motivated you?
I would honestly say, brother, it's been a long time coming. A little bit about me. I was born in 74. I was born 1974 in a small town in Arkansas. And my parents were very young. My parents were 18 years old when I was born. And I am the only child that they have together, right? My mom and dad. So I was really raised by my mother's parents, my grandparents on my mom's side a lot. But my parents both remarried, right? So my father has all sons. I'm his only daughter. And my mother went on to have three more daughters after me, but of course they have a different father than I. So I'm saying all this to say that, brother, I always felt different, honestly, and not just because I was the only one from the union of my mom and dad, but because I was around my grandparents and I heard the stories about the old times and our culture, and we lived in the rural, and in America to really find the roots, you got to go really in the country, and at that time they were still living the rural life, growing their own food. Telling the old stories about how I used to be. My great grandmother, I got a chance to meet my great grandmother. So fast forward a little bit, when I was a teenager, I moved to Chicago, in the late 80s, maybe 89, 1990. And at that time, it was kind of like a resurgence of Black consciousness, Afrocentricity. It was in the music, it was a big part of the culture. And it just really something that took on, it just resonated with me. I can't say that it was all of my family. It really was just me. I used to get my hair straightened and I said, I don't want to do the chemicals anymore. I want to be natural. And that really started as a teenager from the time I was about 16 years old. I'm 50 now.
Wow.
And then when I went off to college, that was the first time that I started meeting Africans. I had many other students that were in college with me that were from different places in Africa, and people started asking me, "Where are you from?" And I never noticed anything different about me, but then I started realizing that my features look African. People started asking me, "Where am I from in Africa?" And that sparked a curiosity in me. And that's been, like I said, over 30 years ago that it really started the curiosity, because you got to understand that I don't know about the islands. I have traveled to the islands. I've never been to the African continent.
Hmm.
But those of us here in America, our ancestors went through a special kind of assault on their identity here.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, literally, where they were made to just totally not talk about Africa. And if you heard anything, at least from the old generation, anything about it, it was something bad. And so a lot of Black people here come from that type of hatred that was put on us, the division of those that were in power here in this country. They really withheld so much information. Our foreparents went through a really a persecution here in terms of their identity and the connection with Africa.
Yeah.
And so with that being said, I want to say maybe around 2010 or 11 or 12, I started hearing about the DNA testing, right? Through African ancestry. I know that they originally tested a lot of celebrities, a lot of famous people were getting it done. And I said, whenever I can, I'm going to do that. And so African ancestry was not my first DNA test.
Okay.
Um, now, another thing I want to say, if you talk to most Black American families, they will tell you we got a little bit of Indian in us, Native American,
Yeah,
indigenous.
I've heard that
That's the
before. Yeah, I
only
hear that a lot.
thing
Yeah.
that I ever heard in my
Yeah.
family. I always heard we got a little Native American in us. And I knew about that, but in terms of the African lineages, nothing. I knew nothing about where it could be from.
Mhm.
I have been asked, was I from different places in Africa? I have, but I had no idea. I literally didn't know what percentage of me was African, where in Africa my foreparents came from. But of course, I read a lot. Of course, I knew about the slave trade. I knew about a lot of them were taken from the west coast of Africa, but I also knew that some of them came from Central Africa, from the interior. They would bring them from the interior and march them to the coast. And so then I started DNA testing through 23andMe. That was the first test I took, which it's a good company. And unfortunately, that company, recently found out they're going into bankruptcy, but I actually liked their test better than Ancestry
Oh,
because they did give me tribes. However, because no one else in my family tested, I didn't know what was from my dad's side and what was from my mom's side. I had no idea,
oh, that's
but
it.
mine came out where I was almost, in that with the 23andMe, I was almost half Nigerian. I had a little bit of Ghana, a little bit of Ghana in me. And they matched me to the Edo people and the Ijo people, the Ijaws of Nigeria.
Okay.
But but then, but here's what happened. They told me that my maternal haplogroup was L3E3B, and they said that maternal haplogroup really originated in East Africa, but then they came into Cameroon. So
Okay.
they did tell me that on my maternal side, but they didn't give me a tribe.
All
And
right.
so that's why, yeah, they told me that that maternal marker originated in East Africa, and some thousands of years ago they
And
came
then the
into
migrate
Cameroon.
from okay. I mean that just
Yeah.
makes a lot of sense because if you look at the Bamileke, the migration from the Bamileke, we came from Sudan, from Egypt, and then
Wow.
we went all the way down there, which is like a little bit closer to the eastern part of Africa. So we went from there to end up in Cameroon. So it does make sense on the on that side. Yeah.
Yeah. The first DNA test, 23andMe, did indicate that my maternal haplogroup was from the Cameroon region, and they said it was very common in Brazil. It wasn't as common here, but
Yeah.
they said
Yeah.
a lot of Afro-Brazilian women had that same marker as me. And so with that, I said, I've got to do African ancestry. I've got to find out, the specific group, because I knew it was something that wasn't as common, they said,
Yeah.
with the 23andMe testers. So when I took the African ancestry test, which was in I believe March, I wasn't sure, but it came out in Cameroon, and they gave me my tribe, the Bamileke. So I was just thrilled. I was so happy.
So, I mean, before you had your result, so you knew anything about Cameroon? You've heard
Here's
of
the
Cameroon
funny thing.
before?
Yeah, this is the irony. I have literally met people from all over Africa. When I lived in Chicago,
Yeah,
and then when I went to college in Louisiana, I've known South Africans. I've known Ethiopians, Nigerians, Ghanaians. I've known people from through. My husband is from the Gambia.
yeah.
I've known many Senegalese, but I have literally never met one person from
Yourself from
Cameroon
Cameroon.
ever.
Wow.
I have never met one person from Cameroon, literally. So I was totally shocked that my maternal ancestry came from a part of Africa that I know nothing about. We always just think along the west coast of Africa, but when you talk about the slave trade with the Portuguese starting in the 1400s, they
Yeah.
were going into those central regions initially,
Yes, yes, yes.
Angola and Congo and Cameroon. They were pulling our ancestors from that region first, and then
Exactly.
they came up into the west coast. Yeah.
Exactly. So, I mean, it does make sense. And again, Cameroon is by the coast. You know, when you look at the Cameroon, we got the coast, and I mean, I spoke to a lot of people before, and then I've never had anyone saying that before the test, I thought I could be from Cameroon. I hear people saying that Nigeria, Senegal, maybe Gambia, maybe Ghana, and any other country. So was it a shock for you to be told that, you know what, my ancestor came from Cameroon?
Yeah, it was a shock because I feel like there's so much that's been taken away from us and hidden from
Yeah.
us.
Hmm.
Our true history was literally hidden from us here in America and throughout the diaspora, the Caribbean too. But like I said, especially here, this was not like the islands where there was a lot of our ancestors concentrated, right,
Yeah.
in one area. Here, this was a bigger land, and they forcefully separated the tribes.
Hmm.
They separated them so that the languages could forgotten. There wouldn't be any coming together. So
Yeah.
that's the reason why when we take these DNA tests, you got a little bit of this, a little bit of this, like in terms of the African lineages in us.
Hmm.
But mine wasn't as mixed as I thought. And I found out that, of course, most of that Nigerian was probably from my dad's side.
Yeah.
His genes are really strong. And, I was 45% Nigerian, but the Cameroon Congo area was together. It was a smaller
Yeah.
percentage,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
comes to find out, that's where it started off on my mother's side. My maternal ancestress that
Hmm.
was taken from that area, that's where she came from a long time ago. And I'm so thankful how the Almighty made genetics. I understand science pretty well, where
Hmm.
that maternal marker remains unchanged for generations.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And that's why the African ancestry test is different, because it isolates the paternal lineage, which is something that men, you brothers, pass on to your sons.
Hmm.
I would love to know what my father's side is, but my dad and I have four brothers I'm the only girl, but
Hmm.
they just don't want to test. So I don't know how that one would come out, but I'm very thankful that I could at least know where my maternal lineage
Yeah.
started at. And when I look at my body, I always had big hips. I used
Hmm.
to want to be skinny. Ooh, when I was growing up, all of my sisters, they were always thin. I always had big hips and butt. And I didn't want that. And now I'm so thankful that my African blood is so strong in me.
Okay.
These lips, this forehead, this gap teeth, I didn't like it. I'm telling you, they made us not like anything Black African.
Mhm.
I'm being honest, you know. And
Yeah.
so now I'm so thankful that I look like I do.
So, because you just said that you had 40 something percent Nigerian, so meaning that I'm sure that if you do your partner side, you're probably gonna have Nigerian there. So the
Yeah,
40% was probably from your partner side, and then you
yeah.
got the mother side, which was Cameroon, Congo. That mean the same thing because at the time they used to be called the Congo Kingdom. So a lot of people
Wow.
today, they think that maybe if they got their DNA, say Cameroon, Congo, Gabon, they think that maybe it's probably split between. But before, those countries never used to have name. They used to be called the Congo Kingdom. They used to be identified
Absolutely.
as a kingdom. You used to have the Dahomey Kingdom. You used to have the Congo Kingdom. You used to have a different kingdom, and then that's how people used to move around places without even know where where they end up. So
Yeah.
um, so the other thing is that when you had your result, I know that a lot of people what they're gonna do, they're gonna rush on the internet. They're gonna look at the picture of people from that country. I'm gonna find out the picture of Bamileke people. So when you actually you did that, yeah,
I did.
okay, and then when
I
you
did.
got the picture, what was your impression? I mean,
Honestly, when
from how
I
you look
seen,
to how them people look like.
yeah, when I saw the picture, honestly, the thing that stood out to me, there was one sister, she's a Bamileke woman, and I came across her video,
Mhm.
and I believe she's a professor because she was lecturing to a college class, and I looked at her body shape, it's identical to mine. Identical.
Uh,
The wide hips. See, my body shape, it's not something that you see every day. Wide
uh,
hips, the small waist. And when I seen, I said, wow, that's definitely my people. We have the same shape. And I was
yeah,
looking at that.
yeah,
I said, yeah, I come, that's me. That's my mama Africa right there.
yeah, I think I
Yeah, I
know
seen
that
the
video.
resemblance.
She's like wearing yellow, and then
Yeah,
she's in
yeah,
the university. I mean, that
yes,
was a marvelous video. You got a lot of information on that
yes,
video. Yeah.
yes. Yeah, she has the same shape like me, and my sisters are, I don't have that shape, but I have it. And I just said, you know what? I'm just thankful that the
Hmm.
ancestors just made it known in me because I'm the one that started digging for answers.
Yeah,
So I'm glad I look like them still. I'm glad
yeah, yeah. Honestly,
because, yeah,
the first time when I look at your video, remember I sent you a picture of one of my sister-in-law. I said, okay, she just looked like. I mean,
yeah,
even if you never had a DNA test, and then I probably met you somewhere, I was gonna look and say, okay, this woman looked like I think she's Bamileke.
wow,
Just the I know that you only have one meeting so far with us, and then one of the sister look at you. She said, "Oh, you look like my sister." Sister,
yeah, yeah. And she does. She does look like some of my family, definitely.
yeah. And the first time I saw her, when she came to the meeting the first time, I told her that, you know what, you just look at a Bamileke person who's coming from the motherland.
Yes.
So
Yes. And was that your daughter? Was that your daughter in the meeting?
yes, yes,
The
yes,
Your daughter looks like some of my family, really. Her little round face.
yeah.
She's so beautiful.
So that's I mean the Bamileke person you're gonna when you get to know more Bamileke people, you get to kind of like look at the physiology everything. You're gonna be able to identify some African. When you see an African person, you're gonna say that I know you Cameroonian, you Bamileke.
Yeah.
When I do travel back home, and then I look at certain people, I can tell exactly that this person is Bamileke, and I can even identify that this person is Bamileke from this or that village. You
Yeah.
get to know more when you get close to your people.
Yes.
So
That's
going back
amazing.
to when you actually got your result, you very exciting about it. You're very happy about it. And I know that you say that you're the only person who kind of like seeking where you're coming from in the family. So how was it when you share the funding with the family?
Yeah, I shared it with my sisters, and because my maternal side, I have three sisters.
Yeah.
I told them about it. I don't know, honestly, they maybe they was like, wow, they really weren't that.
Hmm.
I don't know if the connection is as strong with them as it is with
Hmm.
me. Like honestly, I'll really be honest with you. In terms of the interest in Africa and my family, I'm the one that's that
Yeah,
interested in
yeah,
it.
yeah.
And now my daughter, I have one
Hmm.
daughter and I have a grandson. My daughter has a little son. And of course, they're on my maternal side, so they have the same, result.
Same
And I
thing. Yeah,
ordered
yeah, yeah,
certificates
yeah,
for
yeah.
them. So yeah, my daughter was like, and we all ordered our Cameroon t-shirts, and we just want to come over there. I want to travel with my daughter, even if my sisters, if they're not that interested, that's
Mhm.
fine. But
Yeah.
with my daughter and my grandson, and my little grandson, he's 6 years old,
Mhm.
and he said, we're from Cameroon. Like they really embrace it. We're just really embracing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand when you say that because even for us, like continental born, uh, I got 11, 10 brothers and sisters. So my dad had 11 kids. And then from everyone, I'm the only person actually keen to reconnect with the brother who left home, was
Wow.
so I understand your journey, even in terms of connecting to our tribe. There's so many Bamileke or Cameroonian who doesn't even know a lot about the culture.
Yeah.
I myself, I just kind of like got involved and try to seek more, try to know more about the culture after my 20s, so it's not something you're gonna find. So I understand your journey. Some people they just
Yes.
okay,
Yes.
that's fine, that's right, but it's wonderful that you're doing what you're doing. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. I really, right now, I don't know why, but I never ever thought I would get to the point where I would say I would also like to have a home in Africa.
Hmm.
I literally no longer just want to see this as my home. I would like to have a home in Africa also. I never thought I would say that. I always felt like, what, our ancestors went through so much in America and so much suffering. I mean, no movie can really tell you what we really have went through in this nation.
Yeah.
And I always feel like, well, I don't think we should ever give it up because we worked so hard with our blood, our sweat, our tears, our persecution. I've always felt like we should never leave this place because we made it our home and we actually made it possible for so many other people to come. They didn't have to go through the lynchings. They didn't have to go through the raping and the taking away of our culture. Nobody has went through that except Black people in this country.
Yeah. Yeah.
And throughout the diaspora, I mean throughout, but I'm just saying I'm being in the United States. I've always felt like we shouldn't give this up. However, the way things are going, I really feel like we really need to make the connection with Africa. I really want to have a second home in Africa, the home that my ancestors lost,
Mhm.
that they were stripped away from them, and they were never able to return. Literally, look how many generations it's been since my first ancestor from the Bamileke because I descend from a Bamileke woman,
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
taken away.
Yeah.
Look how many generations. Now, 23andMe was able to tell me a timeline,
Mhm.
and they took it back to the 1700s.
Yeah.
That's when they gave me that's why I said I actually did like that test too, because it provided me with
Mhm.
a timeline for all of my African lineages.
Wow.
And the one they didn't say Cameroon, but they had it, the Congo, like they
Mhm.
had that category.
Yeah.
That was my oldest African lineage. And
Yeah.
next to that was the Senegambia. The Nigerian, they said, was more recent,
Yeah.
within the last 2 to 4 generations. But I'm saying, like, if you think about how many generations it's been since our first ancestors were captured and brought here, and we did mix. Unfortunately, unfortunately that was the history. The colonizers, the slave traders, they mixed with us, particularly the women.
Yeah.
That was the way they did it. They would rape the women, they would choose the ones they liked, and they would force them, and they would have children. But thankfully, I don't have that much. But I have a little bit of the colonizer bloodline in me, which I don't claim that. I'm
Okay.
so happy that, yeah, I don't claim it because look, it's not right how it happened. But I'm just saying, I feel like now, if nobody else in my family is interested, that's fine. I want to
Yeah.
be the one to step my foot back in Africa, on
Yeah.
African soil.
I mean, I'm gonna say that you're on the right path because obviously, as you know already, we planning a trip to Cameroon in February next year. So I spoke to a local chief over there, King. So we're gonna be having something called the Village of Reconnection. So that would be like a village in the village where the person leading that village gonna be someone the ancestor was kidnapped. Somebody we're gonna be able to bring other people back home, and then in that space you're gonna be able to put like a tree or whatever you want to put to remember your family. And then the king also says that he's gonna do like a general funeral for everybody because we are Bamileke. When somebody transit, the person is not. That's why you don't say that somebody is dead. We say the person disappeared. So the person is still in what we call the sacred forest, because your ancestor before they was kidnapped, they probably went through a ritual where all the Bamileke kids at the age of 6 to 9, they had to go through a specific ritual in the sacred forest. That means that the person is still there. Doesn't matter if physically the person is not there, but you can see that person in the sacred forest. And then now you can go there, you can plant a tree, you can do anything. We can do a funeral to for everyone was kidnapped and then we didn't come back. This is the children are back home now, and then we're gonna have a funeral for them people, and then that
Wow.
actually bring a lot of peace into in the family on everything. So in the Bamileke tribe, when the funeral is not done, there may be some issues and everything, but when that is done, you're gonna see that there's so many things, so many peace, so many vision and everything as well. So, and then again, the king says that he's willing to give a land to everyone. So, if you're really looking to have a land there, you can have your land there. You can say, this is the land of my ancestor. You can do whatever you want to do with the land. Yeah.
Yes, I'm really wanting to do that. I want to be a part of that. The only challenge is I also am a teacher.
Yeah.
I'm a teacher. I teach middle school, and traveling in February might be a little difficult,
Oh,
depending on how long we're gonna go. But I know I get, I'm off all summer. Of course, I'm off in the summer, and I get breaks, spring break, Thanksgiving, Christmas. But traveling in February, it might be difficult, but I'm going to try. But I was going to ask you if by any chance I can't go in February, if I can't get off, is it possible if I take a trip on my own, you can connect me to the same people over there?
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. I mean, if you because that's not going to be the only trip. We're going to be having other trips around the year. The reason we actually choose February because it's not a rainy season over there in Cameroon when the road are not good. Especially in the Bamileke and the Chikaland. So it's quite hard to navigate through the villages and everything when you go there a certain time. So if you can make it in February, that's not a problem. Just let me know when you think that you can make it. I'm gonna have a look at the time, this the good weather and everything. Then we can arrange it. Or if I'm not having a trip that time, I'll connect you to the right people where you're gonna go there. They're gonna take you through everything. So
Okay.
that's not a problem. Yeah. But
Yeah,
I
I
said
definitely.
the favorite is the first trip, and then after that we're gonna reflect to everything, and then we're gonna plan another trip. So that could be when you're thinking of going there. Yeah.
Yes, yes. I want to go. I really wish I could go this summer, honestly, but I know I haven't planned it. I'm off. I haven't taken off this summer. I
Yeah.
just want to spend some time with my family, so I'm off. I don't go back to work until the end of July.
Yeah.
But yeah, but I definitely cannot wait to go. And I really just want to, I love to dance, and I'm hoping that somehow somebody can connect me with the women so I can dance with them. I know I'm getting old, but if they don't mind, I love to dance. I just want, I don't, I want to take my shoes off. I just want to be up under, I love heat.
Yeah.
That's another thing about me. I love hot weather. I don't know why, but I always have loved, like, in the wintertime, when cold weather's hard for me, but in the summer, I just feel good. So if it's hot over there, that's good. That's what I like.
Mhm. Yeah, so what we're gonna do also, I'm gonna see. according to where you actually reside at the moment, we can have a look and see if there's any Bamileke association because us Bamileke, we actually very strong together. We always got different association of the Bamileke of this Bamileke of that. So I'm gonna look at according to your location if there's any Bamileke group there. They do have festival in summer. They do have like conferences, like carnival meeting and all that. So if there's any, I can refer you there, and then you can just go there, so you can
Yeah.
first to that group of Bamileke. I know that there's the Bamileke All Convention. I think it's New Jersey, sometime in the summer.
Okay.
I
Okay,
can
yes,
also look
please.
into that. And then,
Please let me know anything that's going on because the thing about me is when I go back home to Cameroon, when I put my feet on that soil, I don't have much, but I'm a very generous person and I want
yeah,
to be able to, you know, like for me, if the king, if he, give me land, or I just want to be able to also share my resources with my people
yeah, yeah,
because I don't have much, but I know that we can help each other. You know what I'm saying?
exactly,
It worked both
exactly.
ways.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because with me, what was taken from us was identity, language, culture. Because when our ancestors was brought over here,
Mhm.
we was forced up under Christianity. We had to worship the white Jesus and all of that.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm just now coming out of all of that. There's nothing wrong with Christianity. Don't get me
Mhm.
wrong. There's
Yeah,
nothing wrong with Christianity. However, for the first time in my life, I'm starting to feel comfortable to say my ancestors. Because in Christianity, depending on the type of church, a lot of that
yeah,
was just demonized.
yeah, yeah.
All of
True,
that was made to seem
true.
bad.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
We were just religion was the main way we were brainwashed, to be honest with you,
Exactly. And
because we were made to feel like they literally would say things like, y'all better be glad that they got y'all ancestors up out of Africa. Y'all better be glad they brought them over here and gave them Christianity. They used to teach the old generation that. Seriously.
exactly, exactly. That's what I was kind of like explaining to my daughter the other day. I know that she's Christian. I got nothing against that, but as a Bamileke, we can practice anything, but we don't stop any Bamileke to do anything. But we still have to follow our tradition. We had a Bamileke priest, like a Roman Catholic priest in the village. On Sunday, they're gonna put the church thing. They're gonna do the mass, but on Monday they're gonna go back and do the tradition. Because it's quite important. And then I've grew up like that when mom used to go to church every Sunday, but when she got any problem, she's not gonna go to church. They're gonna go to the hospital. The first thing she's gonna go and see the tradition. How can I resolve this? Because the cloud
Yes.
oversee everything, see everything,
Yeah.
you know.
Yes, and that's so beautiful. I'm just thankful that when I didn't know how my ancestry test would come. My husband's Muslim. And, just to be, transparent, this is my second marriage, right? We've been
Mhm.
married almost 3 years. I've
Mhm.
been blessed with a good husband. But when I left Christianity I want to say over 10 years ago, I began studying Islam. But something in my heart and my spirit was telling me, I don't think my ancestors was Muslim. I believe they come from another type of tribe. I really
Yeah.
felt that.
Mhm.
And the more I've gotten into Islam, I have seen there's good. Don't get me wrong. I'm
Mhm.
married to a good Muslim husband. There's good in Islam, but the more I have began to unravel that
Mhm.
some of those same prejudices that were in Christianity are in Islam too.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And
And I really, and I've expressed it to my husband. I told my husband, I said, I've been doing a lot of research. A lot of the Muslim tribes was the ones that sold our ancestors away. They
yes,
were trading, they were the traders.
yeah, 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 yeah,
I
exactly.
told my husband's Fulani, and he accepts that. He knows that I know that they
Mhm.
they had a part to play in it.
Yeah, yeah.
I love him dearly, but to really understand your history, you got to really unravel the truth. It was,
True.
so that's the reason why with me, my relationship with Christianity and Islam
Mhm.
is bittersweet because I know that those were instruments used to and somehow bring our ancestors out of their culture, honestly, in some ways.
Exactly. I mean, you was really right when you say that you start kind of like reading about Islam, and then at one point you thought, oh no, I don't think that this is right because our ancestor, the reason they left Egypt because they was persecuted by Islam. They want to convert them. They
Wow.
didn't want to.
Wow.
That was the reason they left. So they was
Wow.
in the Nile Valley. So they left over there, and then they went to northern Cameroon. And then in northern Cameroon, they also had the same pressure where they wanted to convert them to Islam. So they moved all the way down to where we are today in
Wow.
Grassfield. So that was one of the main reasons. And then that's why today in the Bamileke land, we practice what we call the skull ritual. So our ancestors, when they left Egypt, they couldn't carry all the remain of the ancestor with them. So they just kind of like a dig and then they removed the head. They took the head with them. So they traveled with the head all the way from there to put it
Wow.
in the western part where we are today. And even today, you're going to find some Bamileke family when somebody transits, somebody disappeared after maybe 2 years, they bury the person. After 2, 3 years, they're gonna come back again, remove the skull, and then they're gonna put it in what we call the skull room. And then that's how we connect with our ancestor. And then that doesn't mean that we don't recognize maybe God, our God. We go through the ancestor to speak to God because we know
Yeah.
the ancestor, we live with them people. We may not directly live with maybe the 4 or 5 generation grandparent, but we know our parent and then they knows their parent, and then it keep going that way. So that's one of the main reasons our ancestor left, and then we still practice the skull today.
Wow. I really think that that was one of the reasons why our oppressors really wanted to take us out of those traditional religions because they're very powerful.
Yeah.
They wanted to bring us up under something that, they kind of had. Yeah, really,
my
they are.
my
And that's
cousin's happy there. I don't know if you want to add anything to what I just said. Go ahead, cousin. So let me introduce my cousin. My cousin Tani. Tani in Bamileke mean that you it's a special title they give you when you got twins, when you father of twins. They call you Tani, because
okay.
in the Bamileke tradition they got they got natural power. The twins. So the father is called Tani, the mom is called Mani. So my cousin is also a very very good traditionalist, and then he's part of what they call in the Bamileke land the kungang. The kungang is a secret dance. It's only a few people who practice that. So he's part of that. And then they only do them dance when there's a threat in the village, when there's an attack from, mystical attack from maybe a neighboring village or anything, or there's something repeatedly happening in the village. They want to find out how to stop that. So they convoke people who are part of that dance, and they're gonna do that specific dance. So, Tani, go ahead. You want to add something? Go ahead. You want to speak?
Okay, yes. Greetings. Good afternoon or evening to everyone. I don't know. Or good morning. So, my
Greetings.
name is Chame Oud Arnold. Yes. Yes, my title. I'm a tiny, and I'm also a Takunga. Takunga is a leader of a traditional dance, mystical dance, because we have a lot of code, we have a lot of formula to drive away any bad spirit. So therefore, we do the dance whenever we want to bring peace in the village, when we want to bring to remove curse, because there are some witchcraft sometimes in the village, and you know that the village are the focus also of strangers. Yes, when they are there like that, somebody can come and dig something and put something in the village that control the spirit of the village. So we do that dance in order to drive away to bring back the peace. So I'm very happy. I understood. I was listening to you when you explained everything about the reconnection, about the yes to the African land. Yes,
Yes.
I appreciate that because it's a thing that you really have to do because It's very important to do it. You cannot get your entire power unless you come back to the root, because you have in our tradition, in our culture, when your flesh is no more there, if when you die, you don't die, you just disappear, you just go, and your spirit remains, your soul, yes, remain. And there we have a lot of practice. We beat drum, we sing, and we can connect you. We can connect your spirit or your soul to to the land. That is why we have here some lot of prophets. Yes, that are initiated to communicate with that vibration, because in our tradition we talk about energy and vibration, because everything here has a meaning. Everything. So you can see, for example, birds. Yes, birds around your roof. If you notice that a bird is around your roof, it's a sign. It means that you have a visit. If you see, for example, butterfly, and the butterfly, you can see the white one and you can see the one with a lot of color, is a sign. So that is uh, that is what we used to do here, and we have a lot of success. As the success is concerned, my brother can tell you about what happened with Mr. Gordon, Prince Gordon. We carry out research about his origin, and we got a lot of information. And now we discovered that the man was a prince. That is the reason why he has the motivation. And it's very important to notice that when you have a motivation about something, it means that it's a signal. It's a signal from the sacred forest. It's a signal from. It means that there is something that you have to do, because there is no everything has a meaning. So as a ritual are concerned, I'm the one to. I'm here. I have a role to play in the village. Yes, whenever there are big ceremonies like that, I used to come like a ruler, like a leader, because it's a gift. Because when they connect you to your native, to your ancestor native land, you have a gift, and you can give your personal gift, but you really have to do it because you can understand, you can communicate with your spirituality. You know that there are a lot of people that used to go to the to the to the church, and they believe on in gospel. It's good to believe in gospel, because that is just to calm down your spirit. But if you have a spiritual life, if you are really connected, you understand that church is not is just like to how can I say it, just to bring in peace of mind. But your spirituality, you cannot control your spirituality with church, because because when you are connected with your spirituality, with your sacred forest, you no more lead a leader. You no more lead a leader or a godfather like that. But in church, you will always need a leader, because the leader, you need to worship somebody, and the priest or the pastor will not tell you that you are worshiping. He will just say you worship only God, but you follow his philosophy. His philosophy is just like a is just like a it's a philosophy, right? So if you go to church, it's good, but if you want to understand yourself, if you want to communicate with your spirituality, you really have to go back to the ancestors' native land, because they are relic there. There are a lot of relic. there are some indexes, there are a lot of things, and you have to communicate direct in your native land. Yes, to take the ground and to either to eat food that your ancestor ate some thousands year ago, and then when you do the ritual like that, you get enlightenment, and before you get before getting enlightenment, you have to get purify yourself, because your spirit is corrupt by the philosophy of the orders.
Oh,
Since you are African, it's very simple. You just come to native land and get your purification, and when you go back like that, you have some enlightenment, and from that enlightenment, you can
I think maybe
understand now your spirit.
maybe it's
Now you can bring
a
your soul, your spirit, and your flesh at the same spot. Now you are yes, that is what we do here.
okay. Thank you, Tani.
Okay. Yes, okay.
Thank you. Oh, is it raining on your side over there?
What are you saying, please?
I think it's raining on the where the sister is, because I see she's moving from where
Yes,
she is.
I'm moving. You have not got me.
It's not raining, brother. I'm just gonna get in the car I'm gonna be riding with my daughter, but I'm still on the call with you. I'm
Sure,
still
sure,
here.
sure, sure, sure. So
I'm
anyway,
gonna
I
put my
think
video back on.
okay, no problem at all. No problem at all. I think we nearly thank you very much for that information, Tani. Thank you very much.
All right,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Well,
Have you got me? Because I'm still in the funerals like that. There's a lot of noise here.
yeah, we can get you. Yeah, yeah. We was able to get you. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm done. Any question?
I don't know if the sister got a question.
Yes, I have questions. I do. I do have questions.
Okay,
Yeah.
when you're ready, anytime.
Okay.
Okay.
So, first of all, come here, Sarai. I want y'all to meet my beautiful daughter and my grandson. This is my daughter. My daughter Soraya. This is another Cameroonian.
Hey, Cameroonian sister, how you doing?
Good. That's my daughter.
All right. How you
Yeah, another
doing?
Cameroonian.
Welcome to
And
welcome to Cameroon.
here's my grandson. This is my grandson.
Cameroon
Hi.
boy. Bamileke
Another little
boy.
Cameroonian.
Yeah, there's a Bamileke son on him.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Beautiful
Okay, I've been
family.
okay. This is my question. So my question for the brother is, um, I wanted to know what would be the first thing that I could do when I come to Cameroon, because I want to make the connection, being a Bamileke woman. Here's my certificate again. I wanted y'all to see it. I don't know if you can see. Can you see it?
I can see Bamileke people, Nakia Hinka, Bamileke people living in Cameroon.
Yes. So I wanted to ask him what would be the first thing I would do. Hold on one second. Hang on a second. Let me put my seatbelt on because now I'm
Yes.
riding. I'm in the car.
Okay, go
Hang
ahead.
on a second.
Yes. When you come in Cameroon, the first thing is to connect yourself with the ground, with the soil of your ancestors, because the connection is very important, because we used to bury corpse, yes, in the ground, and they used to they disintegrate there. You understand? It means that they are when you connect yourself, when you touch.
Okay. You see that? You see that, Tani?
With the land.
I think because she's probably driving now, we can
Yes, right,
probably
right. Yes, on the line like that, there are some signal. There are something like a vibration.
mhm.
Yes, on the health, and you get the vibration. When you get the vibration like that,
Okay.
they can identify you, because it's like a electronic. It's electronic. How can I say it? Yes, it's something like a vibration.
Okay.
When they identify your food like a food that they know, because you have the gene, you have the indexes in you that are, yes, when they identify like that, then they will bring you, for example, in the river, and they will teach you how to meditate. They will teach you how to look, how to communicate, yes, with the forest. For example, when you go there, they will tell you that you have to take your bath there
Mm.
to remove everything. They can give you a, a something like a leaf, and you can hold that leaf and take your bath with those leaves and uh, remove everything, every dirt, spiritual dirt, yes, dirt, yes, the sality.
Okay.
Then that dirt will go with the river, and then when you come back to that river, you wear new clothes, and now they will sing, they will dance, a lot of dance. They will do it in
Mm.
order to welcome you back.
Okay.
Because when we dance like that, when we beat drum, we have some code, we have some formula. Even when we sing like that, it's like some formula that your ancestors knows. When we beat like that, they come and they identify you. If they don't identify you, but they must identify you, because the Africa was a big village. And when the colonization came, and even before the colonization, they had to go and hunt, and to go and settle to some for some places. But the African, the whole Africa was a big forest that were, yes. Then the first thing is to come to touch your ground, and to be connected with your relic, to be connected with your leaves, to eat food from here, to touch the root, and to communicate with with your tribe. Yes, when you do like that, you can get some ground, you can get some stones, everything according to what we see. Then from that stone, you can easily get some message. Yes, communication will be easily done. It's not a magic. It's just a freedom. Because if you don't have freedom, if you don't understand who you are, if you don't know who you are, you can never know where you are going to. And there are a lot of curse that you can get without knowing. You know that when you are very far away from your native ancestors' land, you have to come back in order to communicate with them. Because let me tell you something, just an example. When If you take a seed, for example, of tomato, and from Peru, for example, or from Italy, and you plant it in Cameroon, you will never naturally get the same result, because the seed is imported. You understand? You have to correct many things in order to get the authentic fruit. You understand? Uh, all that I'm talking about authenticity, right? Authenticity is not something like to disturb yourself about. You just have to go back in your native spirituality. So you know that when you want to grow, you have to go to to be like a born again. You understand? It's the same process to born again, then start. Thank you.
Yes, I really look forward to that. Because I really, honestly, when I look back at my life, I did have some challenges. I had some health challenges, and even the fact that my mom and dad didn't stay together. They were very young. They broke up. I never grew up with both of them. So, I know that I could really benefit from coming home to release all of that and to connect with my ancestors so they can protect me, because I went through a lot. And so my husband, when I married him, he told me that I looked 100% African. And that really made me want to know, well, how African am I? You know, and so that's when I started taking these tests to try to really unravel it.
Definitely, I think your husband is definitely right. After this call, I'm gonna send you some picture of some member of my family. You're gonna have a look at them. And I mean, when I look
Okay.
at you, like I told you, if I probably met you somewhere, I was gonna say that you got Bamileke on you, because
Oh,
I can tell Bamileke, and then I can even tell because when somebody said that, when African ancestry tell that you Bamileke, and then when you approach a Bamileke person, now you find out that there's about maybe 75 or more than 100 Bamileke villages, you know.
wow.
But as a Bamileke person, I can still tell that this person may be coming from this part of Bamileke village or that part of Bamileke village. And honestly, uh,
Yeah.
you got everything of a Bamileke. Everything.
Wow. Well, yeah.
I feel
Very
like we're not
thankful.
going to be
I'm the
too long
oldest.
for the meeting.
Okay. Okay.
We're not gonna be too long. I see that you spend some quality time with the family. We're gonna let you spend the quality time with the family.
Okay.
And I'm gonna say thank you very much for taking part to this conversation. And we really appreciate your time and everything. If you require any information and everything, you know where to get me. You can contact me. I'm gonna share my cousin phone number as well. If you got anything to do with Bamileke tradition and everything, yes, he's gonna be able to answer that as well. And yeah, thank you again for everything, and thanks for your daughter as well to be introduced to the Bamileke, and then to the young Bamileke boy at the back of the car. Okay.
I want to thank you, brother. I really want to thank you for putting this together so that we can make the connection with you all there, our Bamileke family. Because I tried this before. I told you when I did the first DNA test, I did try to reach out to some of those Nigerian tribes, and I didn't really see anything I could really connect with.
Yeah,
And I
yeah,
said it must just be meant to be because as soon as I put my Cameroon video up, you responded. I told my husband, Cameroon is the right place and this is the right time. Like it just was easy because that was my prayer to not just take a DNA test, but I want to make a connection so I can go home. And I just really want to thank you for the ancestors and the Creator leading you to put this together for us. I really do.
no problem, no
Yeah.
problem. I mean, that's why like I told you earlier, the thing we doing is to make sure that you guys, you feel home because you part of home. It doesn't matter with DNA or without DNA. You got a living family in Cameroon there. You just don't know out of the million and million of people there, what house can I go? But you got
Yeah.
living family there. You guys didn't don't just come from nowhere. You got family in Cameroon, and then what we
Yeah.
do is to ease the reconnection, to make sure that we properly reconnect. It's not just like be on social media, send a message, we reconnect. I've got
Yeah.
brothers there which sometimes if I don't hear from them, I'm gonna call them, say, "Oh, how you doing? I hear from you for a long time." That's how the
Yeah.
reconnection is. And then before you travel to Cameroon, you're gonna be fully Bamileke because you're gonna learn from the platform. You're gonna know so many things. So when you go there, you're not surprised or see said,
Yeah.
whatever thing. So yeah, thank you very much, and have a blessed weekend, and we catch up tomorrow.
Okay, thank you very much to
Thank you.
to everybody. I'm very delighted. I'm so happy. Whenever I exchange like that, whenever I explain things, I'm so happy because the more I explain, the more I learn, and the more I understand how the difficulty brothers far away from Africa, how difficulty they face when they want to understand who they are. So I'm very happy. I'm so happy. So extend my regard to your daughter and to the entire family.
Thank you. I hope to meet you one day, brother.
Our DNA still remains the same, connected with those who are on the continent.
We are people who formerly were Africans who were kidnapped and brought to America. Our forefathers weren't the Pilgrims. We didn't land on Plymouth Rock. The rock was landed on us. We were brought here against our will. We were not brought here to be made citizens.
Follow us for more powerful stories about African culture, ancestral wisdom, spirituality, and untold truths about the motherland.